day 3 of the women's SEC basketball tournament, and I took some notes the first couple of games. I ain't even gonna lie, but I ain't gonna hold y'all long because the fact of the matter is that we really didn't have any good games today. And I mean, with Kentucky versus South Carolina just came out, took care of business. You had too much Tessa, too much Akot who had a double-double at halftime. Basically, South Carolina just executed their game plan perfectly. Coach wanted to run the game because Kentucky had played several days in a row. They did it. Kentucky tried to hang in there at first, and it just was not enough. South Carolina looked like they had fresh legs as they did, and they just ran them out of the gym. So I ain't even gonna go over my notes. The next game, OU versus LSU. Had a bunch of notes for that. LSU came out 5 for 5. Reagan Beers once again picks up a silly foul in the first quarter, and which leads to her second foul, and now she's on the bench. And I told you guys that unless Reagan Beers is out on the court, then OU really doesn't have enough to beat a good team. So because she picked up that first silly foul, the second foul, she was on the bench. Williams was off to a hot start. Michaela Williams, I like what I saw from her coming out aggressive. She is smooth. She is butter. She has one of the best, not only women's mid-range game that I've seen, but mid-range games, period. And so she came out. She was on fire. Then you had Flage who came out. Then you had Jada who came out, and she was playing well. Then, but what I will say is that I am happy for Fulwiley. I know my guy who watches this, hopefully you see this and see me shout out Fulwiley. I'm a Fulwiley fan, by the way, just so you know. I'm not a hater by any means, but I really think that, I can't remember which game it was. Maybe it was that Ole Miss game. I think it was the Ole Miss game, to where Michaela Williams wasn't playing worth anything, and Fulwiley got that start, and I really think that boosted her confidence. I said it in that video when they played Ole Miss, and just now continuing to see her play, especially in today's game. You could see her confidence, and for a player like Fulwiley, confidence is key. That's why I almost said it probably would have been more beneficial to her going to a school that was going to allow her to make those mistakes that a championship team would not allow her to make. But it's still not too late. I still think that she has a lot of potential. I think that she is growing. I think that her confidence is definitely growing, and for a player like her, that is essential. So I like what I saw from her. She came out the first quarter. She played solid defense. She didn't do too much, and that's what I like to see from Fulwiley. I don't like her forcing the game. I like when she allows the game to come to her. That's usually when she's good. Then this game, the commentator said it all throughout. It was hard for either team to get their rhythm because of the whistles, the fouls that were called, and they really couldn't get their rhythm, so it made for an ugly game. So yeah, OU, the first half, you were like, how is OU still in this game? And if you look at it, the free throw discrepancy was crazy. I remember when I went to the game at OU, I was like, man, OU doesn't have any free throws in comparison to LSU. Well, this time it was vice versa. OU had 13 free throws, they were like, I think 13 free throws the first half or something, but at one point they were 10 for 10 till Sahara missed a couple or whatever, and then LSU was 0 for 3, and that's the only reason they were still in this game. And the second half, they just ran away with it. But I will say this, because I get on Chavez a lot, even though I like her. I like her game. I think that she has a lot of room for development and just learning the game, but that comes with being a freshman point guard. But I will say this about her, and I said it in my video yesterday. She shoots, I think she's at 60 made free throws in a row, which is insane. And that's why I will continue to say I like her being aggressive going to the goal. Draw that foul. And then a lot of times when you do that, it gets that outside shot going. But I just want to give kudos to her because she leads the nation in free throw percentage at 94%, which is really, really, really good. So that not only tells me that yeah, she can shoot free throws, but it tells me that she works on her free throws. And so that is, I feel like, one of the areas that is neglected, especially in the NBA. You see, it's nothing for your superstars to miss free throws all the time. So, and LeBron's my guy. I'm not talking about LeBron. I mean, well, I kind of was. But you see it among your superstars all the time. And to me, there's really no excuse for an accumulation of missed free throws, especially when you get in a gym whenever you want to. It's nothing for you to make 200 free throws a day. That goes by really quickly, especially if you have a rebounder and especially if you're making your shots. But I just want to commend her for that because 94%, 60 made free throws in a row is absolutely bananas. That most people cannot do that when they are shooting in the gym by themselves. So to be in game and to be that focused and to just be as consistent as you are making free throws, get there more. That's what I got to say about that. Get there more. Stop settling for the threes. But I have other notes when it comes to that OU LSU game. But honestly, it's really not worth going over because that ended up in a blowout. I didn't think they were going to win by that large of a margin like they did in January. But I was wrong. They did. And I don't think it was fatigue. I just think that LSU came out with a fire, just like the other teams did today. You saw South Carolina come out with a fire. You saw LSU come out with a fire. You saw Ole Miss come out with fire. And then you saw Texas do the same thing. So those teams that have been playing for a couple of days or a few days, they ran into some well-rested dynamite teams. And that was basically the gist of it. I had Ole Miss versus Vanderbilt. I'm not gonna lie, missed the first half of that game pretty much, or picked up in the second quarter by the time I picked up, or the end of the first. Ole Miss had jumped out on them. I think the score was 25-6 at the end of the first quarter. Michaela Blakes was 0 for 5 from the three, and she had 2 fouls. She had 3 fouls in that first half. And yeah, if Michaela Blakes is not on the court scoring for Vanderbilt, then they are in trouble. But I will say this about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has been impressive all season long. It is not just because they have the SEC Freshman of the Year or the SEC Player of the Year and the Coach of the Year. Yes, that matters for them. I'm sure it's a confidence booster. But even in this game, when they were getting blown out by Ole Miss, there was an opportunity for them to cut it to single digits in that fourth quarter. That tells me that they have some dogs on their team and they don't quit. They continue to fight. Coach even said that. She said something along the lines of like, we don't give up. We continue to fight. And you saw that. And you love a team like that. And you can never count them out. All right. But Ole Miss was just determined. They heard the media talking. They were determined to go ahead and put Vanderbilt away. So don't have much for that game other than Ole Miss came out ready to prove a point. They did that. Vanderbilt fought back, and that was that. Alabama versus Texas. I'm sorry. I was trying to take notes today, guys. I really was trying to take notes today. But these were all blowouts. It was really nothing for me to discuss. It just honestly looked like some teams who had been playing and some teams who had not been playing and who were well rested. All these teams came out with a fire and they just ran them. Like they just ran them into the ground. And it just looked like that there's levels to this. When you have a team like Texas who's been there before, when the South Carolina has been there before, when, Ole Miss not necessarily, but Ole Miss proving a point, and just LSU been there before. and they just looked like it. Like, that's what it comes down to. It looks like some teams that have been seasoned and they have been there before, and they now know that it's tournament time. It's time to lock in, and we not about to mess with y'all. Like, we trying to go ahead and put y'all away so we can rest our starters, put our bench players in so we can be ready for the next day. That's just what it looked like to me. So, like I said, I had notes, but it's really not worth going over. But tomorrow, we got some good games going on. We have LSU, South Carolina going down again at 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time, if I'm not mistaken. And because I can't see whether it says, yeah. But anyway, and then we got Ole Miss and Texas. So y'all know my pick already. You know, I am not going against South Carolina in the SEC tournament unless something drastic happens, God forbid. But it's just another level. Like, I know that LSU wants to, or they are playing some of their best basketball right now. I don't want to take that away from them, but they've just been too up and down for me this season. I know it's Flaw's last SEC tournament. I know that she wants to win it. Even more than that, I know that she wants to win a national championship, but it's also Raven Johnson's last year. And I just think that when you have a point guard who is that solid, then you know what you're going to get out of Raven Johnson. She just has shown it over the years that she's playing, and she's just been consistent this season as well. So she goes, the rest of that team goes. Joyce has been there before. Okot hasn't been there before with this group, but when you have your leaders on the team, they're going to follow suit. Tess has been there before. So you got some winners who just knows what it takes, and I think that's going to be the difference. I do hope that Michaela plays better this game than she did last game against South Carolina. She pretty much was a no-show. She didn't do much. So I hope that she plays better this go around. And then, so my pick for that is South Carolina. And then you have Ole Miss and Texas. Now, this one can get interesting, but I'm going to go Texas. Texas is another one of those teams where they've been inconsistent and you really don't know what to expect. And Ole Miss can catch them creeping. I did see Cody McMahon later on tonight, go out in a wheelchair just because she was cramping. She just has that body type to where she's a lot of muscle and she's going to have to get a lot of fluid. So hopefully tomorrow that she is, ready to go. But I'm going to go, even though Ole Miss is playing with a fire, I think that Texas, again, they've been there before. And I think because they have been there before, that they are going to beat Ole Miss. And I think that Sunday we're going to have a rematch of South Carolina and Texas. And Texas beat South Carolina earlier on in the season. But, so tomorrow, be sure that you tune in for these games. I think that they are going to be better games than what we saw today. I'm hoping they will be, but we never know. It's tournament time, but these are your top teams right here, and I just think they are just on a different level. So I don't think we will have any blowouts. If we do, then I think it might be that Ole Miss Texas game, but who knows? We don't know. So we'll see. But let me know who y'all got. I know that LSU is deep in their fan base. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had a lot of people going for LSU. And then South Carolina always has their fans as well. And then, of course, Texas, they do as well. I haven't seen that many Ole Miss women's basketball fans. I am like an hour away from them. So by proximity, then of course, yeah. But as far as being around, because Ole Miss is really just now getting on the map like that from back in the day. Now, back in the day, they did have some players who can play to where they were in that tournament and they were a tough team to beat. But Coach Yo is bringing that back to Oxford, and I love that for them. I love what she's doing down there. But anyway, let me know you guys' thoughts. Let me know who y'all want to win the SEC tournament and who you think think is going to win tomorrow. So as always, I appreciate y'all watching, and then I will be back either tomorrow or Sunday with either a recap or what happens on Sunday or what we're looking forward to. All right, so I will see you guys soon.